Welcome to our second monthly journaling club live stream. I hope that you can hear and see me okay. Let me know in the chat how we're doing on that end, but I'm so excited that you are here. My name is Kelsey Lee if you are new, and today we are going to journal together if that interests you. You also can just hang out, there's no problem with that either. But I have my journal here, and my plan for today is to work on my February in review spread in my monthly journal. So looking back on the last month and documenting it in our journals, 1 month at a time. That is the whole idea of the monthly journaling club, and I encourage you to give it a try. And I know many of you are on here today because you are going to be creating your February spreads alongside me. Very exciting. It's a little bit odd this time around because we always do these monthly live streams on the first Thursday of every month. And it just so happens that the first Thursday in March is March 7th. So it feels like we're already a good bit into the next month to be looking back, but that's okay. That's the nice thing about monthly journaling is there's no really getting behind. It's very easy to catch up, and as long as you're kind of taking notes and photos and things along the way, you really can create your month in review spread at any time. So some of you I know have already started doing that. I've seen you using the hashtag monthly journaling club and tagging me in your posts and sharing them in our chat as well. If you're not familiar, over on Patreon, we have an exclusive chat for everybody on any of the paid tiers, where you can share your own spreads in a more private space. Hi Elaine from Maryland. I love seeing where you guys are all from. Yasmin from Paris. We have Belinda and Janie and is that two Belindas? Yes. So excited to see you all here for our live stream together. Hi Bree, I'm so glad you could make it. So anyways, that is kind of what we're doing today. We're not going to take too much time with the intro. Let's turn to the desktop and get into it. I'll just say if you are completely new and watching this recording afterward on YouTube, then if you want to participate in live streams in the future, I would love for you to join the monthly journaling club. It's completely free. Just head over to patreon.com/myabidingjournal and hit join for free. And if you're interested in any of the stickers that you'll see me using through the spread, you can consider joining one of the paid tiers to support my channel and get access to all of these stickers. Hi Mackenzie and Fern and Grace. So good to see you. So glad you guys are here. So I'm gonna turn the camera around. We'll get to say hello to Jeannie. Hi Jean. She's always usually hanging out on the other side of the room on our little day bed. And then I have my monthly journal here. I also have a cup of tea. I'm drinking some sleepy time tea to balance out the coffee that I had later in the day that I shouldn't have had so late. I saw that somebody was enjoying some soup in the chat. So let me know if you're drinking or eating anything delicious. I'm going to raise you up a little bit so that we can open our journal and see everything. So here we are in my journal. This month in review journal prompt sheet is a free printable over on Patreon. Just an example of the free things that you get when you join as a patron over on Patreon. And that's as a free member. You don't even have to join one of the paid tiers for that. But we are here in 2024, and look, I haven't even filled this out yet. All of my prompts for this year, I want to learn, I want to become. Haven't even sat down. Honestly, kind of forgot that I made this page until just this moment. So I'm gonna have to go back and fill this in. I'm curious if any of you have also kind of felt like 2024 has just been running away without you in tow. That's just, I feel like I've been playing catch up this whole start of the year. I also have my 25 by 2025 list, which I plan to check in with every time that I create my month in review spread just as like a monthly check-in if I've done any of these things. And actually I can check one off, which is very exciting. I can check off, which pen do I want to use? I think we'll use this one. Book a trip abroad. My husband and I are going to be going to Canada in May, so that'll be a fun thing to document here in my journal for our 5-year anniversary. Okay, we'll call that a check mark. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. So I got to check that off. I think that's the only thing though, because I've not been good at just getting things done, period, so far. We're in the process of planning our kitchen renovation, so that's getting closer to being able to check that off. And I think a few of these things I have planned for March, so hopefully we'll have even more to check off soon. Yes, I cannot believe it is March either. It's not even like it just became March. It's March 7th. Like we're already into the month quite a bit. So if you missed our last live stream, at that time we created our January month in review spread. So you can go back and watch that on my channel if you want to play catch up. But this is kind of what we're going to be doing today, just for a whole new month. So I have my blank slate and I am ready to dive in. I've actually printed out and cut out for the first time ever my photos in advance. So I have all of these ready to go. And I just printed these out as a 4x6 collage and then cut them out so that they're nice and tiny to be used throughout my spread. And this time I printed them also on a more like luster paper instead of a high gloss, and I really prefer that look. I thought that this was a luster paper too when I was printing it and setting my settings, but I didn't realize I actually had a glossy sheet in. So you can kind of see the difference though in how the light reflects and how much thicker kind of the paper looks and feels on the page. But I did want a printout. I realized after I already did this collage that I didn't include a photo of Kirigini, my dog, who you just saw over on the bed. And I remembered that for February, there is I think it's called like Love Your Pet Day, something like that, was one of the highlights for the month. And so I had made this really fun sticker in the printable sheets where if you have a pet, you can kind of write in their name and put a little photo right here. It's a 1 by 1 inch photo, and I was kind of eyeballing it, but I think I got the size pretty good. I mean, that looks like that's going to fit pretty perfectly there. So you can put a photo there and then just like answer a few things about them. So I think that'll be a really cute and fun addition for this entry. And yeah, these are all of the February printables. If you haven't yet printed them out, you can do so over on my Patreon. You have free access to all of these if you're on the $6 tier and up. And if you want to just do a one-time purchase, they're available in my digital shop for $5. And on my $2 tier, you get access to the mini printable, which has some of those stickers from the full sheet, and also all of these fun prompts that you can also use to inspire your journaling. So that's what I'm going to be using for my February spread. And I did also want to share that if you haven't seen them yet, all of the March printables are also available now if you want to start using them in your planners and getting ready already for the end of the month to document all of our memories. I really love all of these fun spring colors. It's funny because I feel like 5 years ago, I would have treated March more like February, where it's kind of more winter focused, not really quite yet spring. But now it's like March is fully the start of spring here in Pennsylvania. I remember when I was looking up the flower of the month for March, I was surprised that it is daffodils. And so there are some daffodils on these printables, like right here. And I just was surprised because I never really associated daffodils with March. I associated them more with April. But lo and behold, I look around my neighborhood and there are daffodils blooming everywhere. So apparently I just have had it backwards in my head, or, you know, changing in the weather patterns just means that we have spring a little bit earlier here now. So, okay, desk is officially a mess, so I think we're ready to begin. I see some of you also sharing that you printed out your photos in advance and your stickers to get them ready to go for this journaling session. The only other thing that I have for my entry besides my stickers and my photos, you know, sometimes I like to have little ephemera pieces that I bring in as well. The only thing that I saved from this month is the little pamphlet, that sounded weird, that they hand out, you know, for a funeral. We went to Ben's nanny's funeral in February, and so I wanted to document that. Last time, if you were there for January, we documented her passing because she passed away actually in January, but then we celebrated her life with her funeral in February. So I have a very sweet little picture of her and Ben in this entry, and then for this entry I just wanted to commemorate her ceremony and some of the things that were mentioned about her in here with that. So otherwise, we're going to be very photo and sticker heavy. I just feel like looking back on this month, I don't know, I just felt like nothing happened. Even though things did happen, it just didn't feel as full as some of my other entries have in the past, but that's okay. I mean, that's kind of why a lot of these stickers, you can see I already used some in my planner here. But I was saying a lot of these stickers are about kind of like hibernating, or kind of not really getting stuff done, or just being proud of yourself for getting out of bed, or making a to-do list, or reading a good book, because I feel like February is one of those months when you need to just give yourself a pat on the back for doing the bare minimum, because it's just a hard month to get through. Even though it's the shortest, it's just hard. So let me show you really quick. So some of the stickers I already cut out were ones that I put into my planner for the just calendar dates. And then you can see I already cut out the ones for March as well and put them in here to set up my March planner. And you're actually going to get to see this setup as well as this setup and some of my daily journaling entries, because I'm currently filming, fun fact, I'm currently filming a, what am I calling it? A week in my journal and planners video. So I'm actually gonna hold up for a second my camera to the chat, because I think it would be fun for this section to just have you guys say hi to the video and everybody who's watching it by just saying hello in the chat. So just go ahead and quick say hello, I don't know, to the vlog, I guess you can call it a vlog. It's like a week in my journal vlog. So I'm going to record and you can just say hello to the vlog in the chat. And I have my camera just kind of pointed out. So that video will be coming out next week, and I'm really looking forward to sharing more of like a realistic look at what is it like for a week of journaling. And of course, I wanted to capture this week because it's very, very exciting. that we have our monthly journaling club happening during this week. So yay. Hello, everybody. So thanks for saying hi. So we have that captured, and maybe you'll get to see your name then in that future video. All right, first things first, I'm going to cut out my February title from this sticker sheet to put in the center of the page. Just helps to ground everything and give me a starting place when it feels a little overwhelming of how to start and where to start. It just gives you that first step. I feel like this is not looking straight. Let me know in the comments if you all are also working on your February entries, or if you've already completed your February entry and are working on something else, or maybe you're not documenting month by month at all and are working on something else. I just would be interested to know how you are spending our time together. Hi, Angie. Okay, so there's February, and I think the way we did this before is I just cut it at kind of the abbreviation mark. You know, Feb is used as an abbreviation for February, and then put half on one side and the other half on the other. So I'm gonna do that again. Let's see if we can get this nicely lined up. Oh, I just moved that washi tape. Okay, I usually just kind of eyeball this. All right, I think it's this line right here. Nice. Some of you are working on February and March. Still need to do January. That's totally okay too. Like I said, that is the nice thing about monthly journaling is you can fall 2-3 months behind and it doesn't feel quite as overwhelming to catch up because it's really just 2-3 entries. Yeah, I like to have it in the same spot as the previous month. Just, it's nice when all of the pages look different to have that small piece of consistency that kind of links them all together. Yes, daily journaling is very time consuming, and I've been doing a lot of more like weekly recaps in my journal. It's just as, I'll just show you really quick as an example. So you can see here, I did a daily entry for the Super Bowl, which we'll also be documenting in my February month in review spread. But then for the 13th through the 18th, I just did a little bulleted list. Still had a little bit of fun with creativity, still got the memories down, but wasn't being super intense about trying to document every day on its own. Oh, I love that you guys are doing your commonplace journaling too. It's something I've started as well with my little commonplace book, but I haven't been using it as much as I'd like. I've only written in like 2 different book quotes that I really liked, but I'm hoping to add more to this. There's a lot of quotes that I've written down in my phone that I know I want to add to it from recent books that I read. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I've been wanting to make a video about commonplace journaling in general and how it's kind of like the new bullet journal in the sense of it being really popular again. I just think that's really interesting. What part of Canada will I be traveling to? So we're going just outside of the Algonquin Provincial Park. I think that's how you say that. It's not a national park, it's a provincial park. Apparently it's the oldest park in Canada. And yeah, we're just gonna have about 5-6 days there at a really neat Airbnb that I found. And we'll go to that park for a few days and just enjoy some Canada nature. We chose that place because it's a place that we can drive to pretty easily from PA in about 8.5 hours. There's a lot of other places that I would love to go to in Canada, like Prince Edward Island. I'd love to go to Banff. There's so many places that I'd love to visit, but they all would require a plane or a lot more time in the car. So that's kind of our first trip to Canada. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Catherine, about it being more about capturing moments than necessarily productivity-based journaling, which I think is a lot of what a lot of channels tend to focus on, is how to use your journal to be more productive. And then there are some like mine that focus more on memory keeping, but then there's others that are more focused on just like pure creativity for the sake of creating. A lot of junk journal channels that are just about, you know, the aesthetics of it as opposed to what it's representing is kind of less the focus. So it's interesting, all the different categories of journaling even in the community. So I'm just trying to choose some of the stickers that I know I want to use for this entry. I'm sure we'll add to it, but I think it'll be fun to use some of these kind of little award stickers. So we went on a walk, and I'll also use this read a good book sticker for some of the books that I read. And let's just keep moving things around the page, but I also want to cut this out and maybe just do this part a while because it's such a big piece. I'm curious if any of you who have pets plan on using this sticker in your spread. I knew it wouldn't apply for everyone, but I thought it was a fun little holiday to mark for those of us who do have pets in our lives. I need to get a new blade for my cutter. It's definitely wearing down a bit. Good night, Carmen. I do Bible journaling on my Abiding Faith tier and put out videos about that also once a month. Yeah, Spotlight, you're gonna have to print out a few of these. That's funny. Or you'd have to choose a favorite, right? Oh, for Hopper, that's so cute. I love hearing your guys' pets' names. Yeah, definitely share what your pet is in the chat too, and their name if you're willing. That's always fun to know. These are just quick little photos of our crocuses and a little bit of daffodils coming up. I just took these today in the front of our home in our garden. It's so pretty. I always love when the crocuses come up, but probably going to save these for March because I think it kind of happened towards the very, very end of February that I saw a few of the crocuses, but I feel like it's more of a March thing. Soldier, oh, what a great name for a German Shepherd. Hopper, your yellow parakeet. I remember you sharing some photos of Hopper in your previous spread. And Patriot for a Shiloh Shepherd. Black cat named Louise. Oh, I love hearing about your pets. Blitz the Aussie. Two dogs, Cash and Junie. Ella. Oh, after Ella Fitzgerald. That is very sweet. So fun. Okay, let's see how I did on size. Oh my goodness. Wow. Literally perfection. And I did not size it to be 1 by 1 inch because I couldn't really figure out how to do that on my app. So I just kind of eyeballed it in what I thought would be 1 inch. What are you doing, Jean? You know I'm talking about you, don't you? What you doing? Oh, it's so cute with the little photo in the square. I'll have to think of these types of journal prompts stickers in the future where you kind of use a photo for something and then write a little bit about them. I could see doing this for like a photo of like your favorite spot or a photo of a loved one that you would want to document, like your friend or something like that. That would be something for me to keep in mind in the future because I think that's so cute and fun. A black cat named Nala and a white one named Django. Aw. Oh, you have a dog named Maximus. I call him Max for short. That is my dad's dog's name too. His name is Maximus, and we call him Max for short too. He is a Saint Bernard, so he is a big, 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 big puppy. Esteban. Thunder and War Dog. And you call them the littles. Oh my goodness. So fun. I feel like it's so funny how excited people get about their pets, you know, it becomes like a whole conversation. As they should. So this is such a big piece that I'm kind of like, I feel like this should also find its place on the page before I go any further. I feel like this is probably the only spot for it. So I think I'm just gonna put it there. Ooh, don't rip it. That was close. There we go. I might put these here because this is kind of going on a walk. We did that with Carrie Jeannie. So maybe I'll do this and maybe overlap. I love her just kind of looking out over the water. This was at the White Cliffs of Kenoi, which is a cool local spot to walk to. Oh, I'm sorry about the loss of Lady. Liberty is also a great name. Kirby and Coco and Boston. Oh my goodness. You guys have great names for your pets. Maybe I want to do this, and then I could put this here. I think I liked it better. I love this quote. That's one of the stickers by William Sharp. It says, "Go to the winter woods, listen there, look, watch, and the dead months will give you a subtler secret than any you have yet found in the forest." Such a good quote. So we went here and we also did a walk at the game lands, and I always enjoy that walk because it's a place that I go to regularly enough that I feel like I can really see how the seasons are changing the landscape. Oh my goodness, that is the cutest thing I've ever heard. You just call her little cat in French. I'm not going to even try to pronounce what you wrote in French because I studied Spanish in school and French is so foreign to me. The pronunciations and sounds are just horrible. They do not work in my tongue. So I'm trying to cut this out so that it doesn't look odd when I have it overlapping. So I'm trying to get it as close as possible. These are the times where it'd be really nice if I got my Cricut set up so that I didn't have to fussy cut things. I could just use the machine, but alas, we have not done that, so. All right, am I the only one who is not sure what a GSD is? Can somebody spell that out for me? I know as soon as you say it, I'm gonna be like, oh yes, of course. But it's not coming right to the top of mind reading it. And so many of you are talking about having GSDs as your pets. German Shepherd dog. Oh, so the D is just for dog. Okay, German Shepherds. Nice. Thank you, Paulette. I'd be curious to know what tool you found to help you with fussy cutting. That's very interesting. All right, so I do want to cut out also this snow, and I think it would be fun because it is leap year to add in the leap day information graphic that was included. There's also one for Groundhog's Day and Valentine's Day, but since those come around every year, I don't feel as inclined to make sure that I include them. Ugh, dang it, see? Like I said, I need a new blade because I keep kind of ruining my stickers, especially when I'm trying to trim off like a really small piece. So the snow is for this picture. It is really, really tiny and not super great, but at least it reminds me of the snow outside the window, which was so beautiful. And I think I might just put that up in this corner, or I guess I could do it. Well, I don't think it's gonna fit though if I put it down in this corner. Yeah, we're gonna have to do it up here. This was actually taken at Ben's parents' house through their bay window because there was the most beautiful snow on the morning of the funeral, and we kind of slept over there that night before going to the funeral that morning. And it was just such a beautiful sight to wake up to on, you know, an arguably difficult day. So I wanted to document that. And I also was just glad to see a little bit more snow one last time before the end of the month. Oh, an X-Acto knife on a swivel. That's very interesting. Okay, thanks, Yasmin. I'll look for a titanium blade as my next blade of choice for this. One of my favorite things to use lately in my journaling, and that's one of the reasons why you see them as a regular feature in my sticker collections, is word confetti like this, where they're just really little strips with short phrases on them. I think they just make such a nice, simple addition when describing something. You know, you don't need all of your journaling to speak for it, but you can kind of just capture things with small words. So I like the Winter Beauty one. That's a really good question, Paige. Paige asked about whether we journal mostly for ourselves and just enjoying the moment and the process at that time, or if our focus is also on creating something for the next generation, as something we might pass on to our family and children. And for me, it's both. I definitely enjoy the process in the moment. It's something that is calming to me. It's a creative process that I get to enjoy as a nice outlet to express myself. And I personally just enjoy looking back on the memories. But I definitely think about how these might be looked at by a future generation. So sometimes I'll even explain things in my journal that I know, right? Even like names of people, like who are the people in this photo, for example. I know who they are. They're friends of mine, and so you wouldn't really think I would need to write down a list of who they are, as a caption for it. But sometimes I do like to do that because I'm also thinking about, somebody looking at this, whether it's my kids or grandkids 50 years from now, and them not knowing who is represented in the photos and how, they may or may not be related to them as, their ancestors or whatever. It's something I think about a lot, even just being at this funeral for his nanny. Some of the photos that they had scattered throughout the room, some of them had captions or, kind of written on the back of the photo who was in it, what date. And that was just so useful that as the next generation looking back on those times, to be able to see that. So it's definitely something I think about. And I think sometimes how nice it would have been if I had a journal from my mom to look back on, because while she was a scrapbooker, and she's definitely the one who inspired me to get into scrapbooking to begin with and memory keeping, she wasn't somebody who included a lot of journaling in it. So I never really got to experience her thoughts in her own words through looking back at her scrapbooks. You still get to see the imprint of her because of it's how she created the page, and there's beauty in that too. But it would have been nice to have had some journaling by her to look back on as well. So that's also something that I think about, when writing my thoughts and feelings and my response to things, and also just having my own handwriting on the page. I know so many people talk about how, oh, they hate journaling because they don't like their handwriting. But I just think that's such a beautiful reflection of who you are, even if, it's chicken scratch and you can hardly read it. Yeah, I just think that's really special to have. I don't know how I want to do this section over here, because I want to be able to write a little bit. I mean, I guess I don't really need to write about these because I did do a book review page for Demon Copperhead. So I don't know. I'm gonna come back to that section. Just reading through your comments quick about your own relationship with journaling. Yeah, it's really special. And definitely, I think as you get older, and you start to lose people, it just makes you think about that all the more. But yeah, that's definitely a big reason too why I started doing monthly journaling like this, not only because it's easier to do in the moment, but because it is, I think, a lot easier for people to look back on because it's just quick glances at your life. 12 pages for an entire year is a lot different than, I love looking back at my mom's scrapbooks, but she had 100 pages for a 7-day vacation. So it's just like a very different type of journaling, and scrapbooking is to be a little bit more focused. Yes, there will always be another page to journal on, so I totally agree with all the comments. Oh, I forgot I had this sticker about just going for it. I know, especially when you've already created a page you really like, it can be all that more overwhelming because you feel like you already made something pretty in it and you're gonna mess it up if you don't create something just as pretty in the next one. But you just have to go for it and trust the process, and trust that even if it's not something you absolutely love, there's always another page, and the most important part is getting the memories down, even if it's not the most aesthetic entry you've ever created. I really like to use more of these journal prompts. I think there's a lot of really fun ones. If you're stuck too in your month in review spread and you feel like you don't have enough to document, definitely turn to the prompts, because these two can be a fun way to put something on the page. You could just literally create a list of 3 ways you're going to be kinder to yourself, or reasons that you love the winter, something you're proud of yourself for. So definitely check out the prompts as another way to get you started. Now I'm debating if I do want to use this, because I feel like the photos of them are big enough and show the title. So it's like, do I need to also write the titles here? Like, I could write something else. I could write their genre or 1-word review. That could be fun. I could do like a 1-word review. I kind of like that idea. Maybe I'll do that. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to, because I'm looking at this now and realizing it says cozy reads, and Demon Copperhead is not a cozy read by any stretch of the imagination. So if you're looking at that, just be aware that is not a cozy read. Yeah, that's a really good point too, that you definitely
don't have to do it for others or with the intention of others seeing it. For some people, even their memories, and even if just events, you know, and not even really getting into their feelings, even that can be really personal. And they may not want to share it, but just want to be able to reflect on it for themselves. And that is totally okay too. I feel kind of stuck, honestly. I feel like I'm all over the place. All right, I know I need to get this photo down of our new car. Some of you remember from the last live stream that I shared that one of our cars got totaled while it was parked on our street. Somebody ran into it. She was okay, luckily, but our car was not. And so we had to buy a new car this last month. So that was an unexpected financial hit, but God is good, and we were in a sound enough financial position to be able to weather that storm. I'm trying to find, where are my other February stickers, because I have one that says Super Bowl Sunday on it. And I want to include that. Oh, here it is. It's right in front of me. So probably the most fun thing we did in February was get together with friends for the Super Bowl, which is very ironic because I could care less about the Super Bowl. My husband is the same way. Neither of us are into professional sports at all, but you know, when in the US, you gotta kind of get behind the hype a little bit for Super Bowl Sunday, and we got together with friends who also could care less about the Super Bowl, but we were very interested in the new pizza oven that our friends got, and we basically went over there to watch the Super Bowl, but really we went over to eat food and make pizza. And so we have a little photo here of everybody outside. Like, this wasn't staged. This is literally what everybody looked like when I walked outside. And I was like, oh my goodness, I need to capture this moment, because meanwhile, the Super Bowl game of all games is playing inside on the TV with nobody watching it because everybody is outside staring inside the pizza oven in awe at it cooking our pizzas. So it was really fun. We got to make homemade pizza, and it was just a really good time. It was also a very eclectic mix of people. We had, it was at our two best friends' house, and then both of their sets of parents ended up coming. And then our friend, whose wife I'm really good friends with, and is in our Bible study, he was kind of on his own and asked us if we were doing anything, so we invited him. And so it was just a very strange mix of people for this Super Bowl get together, but we just had the best time. I had stickers. I think I already used them because I did do that Super Bowl page, which there is a journal with me in which I share that entry because I worked on the Demon Copperhead entry. It was my last video where I did some daily entries, but I also created one for our Super Bowl day where I could write out a little bit more. And in this sticker collection, I had an I'm here for ... sticker, and then you could write in either the snacks, which is what I did for this entry, or you could write in, I lost it, but there's another one that says halftime show. And then there's this one, which is really just literally for this particular year, which is T Swift. If you were here for Taylor Swift and that was your main focus. So I think I want to use this one on this entry and write like T Swift sightings and then a colon that says like I lost count, something like that, just to poke fun at the, you know, pop culture moment of people being all obsessed with her relationship with, I don't even know his first name. Travis? What's his name? Travis? It's Kelsey, right? Is his last name. I remember that because my name is Kelsey Lee, so that makes it easy. Okay, so I just put the Super Bowl Sunday over the photo because there was this big kind of weird empty space. So I knew when printing it out that I was going to want to put some kind of sticker in this space. So keep that in mind when you're using your photos. Sometimes you can use the empty odd spaces to put embellishments kind of over top them, and then it adds a nice layering, but it also helps to kind of hide parts of photos that maybe you don't want as much focus to be on. Travis, okay, good. I think, is that what I said? I think I got it right. All right, Super Bowl Sunday. That's there. This guy, this is our friend playing with the pizza dough to get it into a nice shape. I have to say, I was incredibly impressed by this little pizza oven and how much it really did taste like a wood-fired pizza. I mean, we don't make pizza very often at all, and I was tempted to get one after experiencing that, but it's one of those things that you just know you're probably not going to use as often as you'd like, and so it's like, is it worth the investment? But it sounds like it's worth the investment in France for Yasmin. Yeah, that makes sense. It is so good, you know, when you have really good ingredients. And just do this in this. I don't know. Okay, so T Swift sightings. And just wrote, I lost count. All right, I'm just gonna put this down so it's out of my way. I think I'm gonna put it just down here in this little corner, since it is that 29th odd day right at the end. I'm going to take off the cozy reads because, like I said, it doesn't actually capture what's happening here. Because, like I said, they were not all cozy. These two were pretty cozy. I mean, well, this one was kind of sad and it was set in World War II, so it wasn't exactly cozy, I guess, either. But in terms of World War II books, I will say it's probably as cozy as you can get for World War II. President's Day. Somewhere I had another little photo printed out from last time because I printed out a photo of the screw tape letters. It's not under there. But I didn't use it for that entry because it was really one that I had started in February. But now I can't find it. I'll find it after I finish the entry, don't you worry. I thought I had it in here. Yes, I am still in Pennsylvania. That's great. You're getting the photos down, you know, one step at a time. I don't know where that went. And there's the halftime show. If I wanted to write in that it was Usher. Usher. Yeah. So I'm writing what a throwback to junior high dances, because that was kind of my time. An experience with Usher is his music being played at our junior high dances, which, looking back now, his music is quite inappropriate for that age group, but you know how things are, so. It was fun to dance to, though. We'll give him that. Just do some little sparkles, fill in the weird spaces. I'm gonna look back at what I did. So I just wrote, guess who is car shopping again? Hit while parked in front of our home. At least no one was hurt. Okay. I wasn't sure if I had said anything more. I didn't remember for this entry in terms of how then I would continue it over here. That kind of fits in that space nicely, so I might put that there. So I think I'm gonna use one of these stickers from the January faith add-on sheet that's more focused on kind of trusting in God's plan. Obviously, it was not our plan to need to buy a new car, but, you know, focusing on trusting His will. And, you know, for all we know, maybe we really needed to get a new car, and that was actually a blessing in disguise. If something could have happened, his car was quite old, so you never know. Yes, Mackenzie, I do have a page. Just show it to you before I start new entries where it says 2024. This is a free printable on Patreon, so you can download this and print it out if you want to use this exact same set of stickers in your own kind of cover page. But I did the same thing in somewhere in 2023. So that's kind of how I mark it. And eventually what I want to do now that I'm getting into multiple years is put tabs. So I want to put a tab on the side for 2023 and then for 2024 and so on. That way it's a little bit easier to just turn to that year and find it. But yes, you could, if you wanted to, write 2024 on every single page as well, but I kind of just use that introduction page as my way of reminding myself. I think I'm going to put this here. And this quote is C.S. Lewis. And it says, "The terrible thing, the almost impossible thing, is to hand over your whole self, all your wishes and precautions, to Christ." And then I might use this really teeny one too that says, "Your will, not mine." That was definitely a situation in which I just had to like put total trust and faith into God and lean into that situation with open hands, because it can be really tempting to approach that with closed fists and say, you know, this is my money, I shouldn't have to spend it on this. It was an unexpected circumstance, and, you know, feeling like the situation was the world pitted against you. But it's a choice whether we want to look at it through that lens or we want to look through it through a more God-honoring lens and put our trust in him. So choosing the latter. Just use this to kind of go over that photo a little bit. And then what I want to do is I'm going to write again in parentheses first, so that way my spacing is right. But above that, I want to stamp out new car. And then it'll say new car again. Because if you look back through these monthly spreads, it wasn't that many months ago that we just bought a new car. That one was a little bit more intentional because my car was really, really old. It was my first car that I got when I was 17. So I definitely was time for me to get a new car. But all that to say that, you know, within 1 year, you know, we've bought 2 cars outright. So definitely a difficult time for the bank account. Okay, there's my letters for writing new. Now I just gotta find C-A-R. It's gonna be the last ones I pick up. So you know I never put these stamps away. They just sit here on my desk. Is that a C or a G? It's a C. Okay. Yeah, thank you for that recommendation page about glue sticks, because I know I've mentioned before that I also struggle with sometimes, you know, even now you can see this is kind of coming up. I mean, I like barely touch it and it comes up. With the tape that I've been using, which used to work great for me, but I think it's something about this particular type of paper and this type of photo paper just not meshing well together, and especially with that type of adhesive, whereas it worked perfectly fine in my moleskin. So you kind of just have to keep that in mind, that some adhesives are going to work better for certain types of papers than they are with others. And so I'm still kind of figuring out for myself too what's best. And I kind of have a feeling that when I do find what's best, I'm going to just have to go back through some of these pages and re-adhere things so that way it lasts longer. All right, so I have my VersaFine black ink. I'm going to stamp out car first. So again, kind of working my way up, that way I don't have to figure out the spacing. I do have a block stamp set like this if you're interested, linked, I I believe, in my Amazon shop. I think they also sell a set. I'm not sure if I got this particular one from there, but I think there is one on Obujo as well, which is also linked in the description. But it's one of my favorite supplies that I use all the time in my journaling. So if you ever were interested in getting your own, those are some places where you could get it. See, Paige, you use a moleskin. That's interesting. So yeah, when I used the moleskin, it stuck much better. But this paper, I just feel like it's harder to stick to, even though the it's great for like multi-medium, you know, stuff where you're using paints and really pigmented pens. You won't have any bleed through at all with this paper. But I'm still working on the challenge of things not quite sticking well. Okay. So I just drew a little arrow to write the type of car that we got. It's a 2009 Toyota RAV4. So nothing that fancy or special, but it drives, so that's important. All right, let me figure out how I want to do these books, because I think they're the part that's really stumping me. Ooh, sorry, that was loud. I'm trying to think if I could use one of these, maybe this one. And then I could just like write a little bit about it. Or I could write in a quote from it. To be decided. Front row. It wasn't quite straight enough. There we go. Okay. So there we go. And we could do like this, and then could overlap here, and then here. Okay, I think I like that. So we're just gonna go with it. Because you know, if you wait too long, you'll just keep changing your mind. So sometimes you just gotta put stuff down. So Demon Copperhead, I talked about very, very, just a small amount in my latest journal with me because I did a book review spread for it. But it is an incredible book. It is also an incredibly difficult book to read. Not difficult in terms of reading level, like it's very easy. It's actually in terms of the way that it's written, but just the content matter. It deals a lot with addiction and understanding the opioid crisis through the eyes of a young man, and you kind of watch the young man grow up over time, who is kind of put through the foster care system. And so there's a lot of really strong but difficult, peeks into that system and how broken it can be. But it is just one of those books that really just helped to open my eyes to certain realities that are right around us that, we all kind of want to turn a blind eye to because it's easier to ignore them, from the other side of the picket fence, sort of speak. And yeah, it just broke my heart. It was incredible how much Barbara Kingsolver captured the voice of this boy. It's all written in first person. And, it's totally fictional, but based on very real things that happen. And I just was so impressed with it as a character study. So, fair warning that it has lots and lots of language, has some vulgar, scenes in it just based on the subject matter and who the characters are. But if that doesn't bother you too much, I do think it's really a worthwhile read, just for just learning about, something that I think is really important for us all to be aware of and mindful of, the situations that people end up in and how they're often, in some ways built into the circumstances that they've been put through their whole life. So that's my quick little review of that book. Dear Mrs. Bird is set during World War II. I listened to this on audio and really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's kind of like a more comforting World War II book, if you can even say that. It just deals with a story of a young woman who's so excited to go become like a war correspondent and get put into like the thick of the action, and then realizes that she in fact has been hired to help just type up responses to like dear what do you call that? There's like a name that people use, but like a help section in a women's magazine, where women are just writing in with like their problems during wartime and asking for help. But she discovers, through that process that actually she has a lot to offer in that space, and maybe that's the right way for her to help during the war after all, instead of it being some like great big spy mission like she initially thought she was signing up for. So it's got a lot of heart to it and some good humor, but also does have some kind of sad and difficult parts to it. It's part of a series, so I've just started listening to the second one in it. Dear Abby, thank you, Belinda. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. So it was it was a really good book, and I did enjoy it. I think I gave it like 4.75, 4.5 stars. Um, so that was Dear Mrs. Bird by A.J. Pierce. And the other one I listened to was or not listened to, I read this, I have the paperback, was The Lost Art of Keeping Secrets by Eva Rice, which is set in the 50s in England, I believe, after World War II, obviously, in the 50s. But kind of like getting back to normal life, but what even is that? It's a coming of age story, so it's kind of like when you've grown up, you know, with your whole life basically being in wartime as a child, and now you're a teenager kind of trying to figure out, you know, life. And it's also set in a big giant mansion that this family owns, but it's kind of falling apart and they don't really have the funds to keep it together, and so it's a lot about how that house kind of like owns them rather than them owning the house, which is a really interesting, but also it's just a ton of humor. It's very much coming of age, and it's the main character is basically asked by her friend's cousin to pretend to be his girlfriend so that he can make his ex jealous and yada yada. So it was a fun story to read, and definitely kind of like just cozy, fun little read, coming of age story. So I did enjoy that. I am hoping in the near future, after this week in my journals video comes out, I would like one of my next videos to be a book focused video, just talking about some of my favorite reads, maybe talking specifically about books that have like totally changed my perspective on certain topics and things, and Demon Copperhead would be one of those. Poisonwood Bible, I see, Paige, you said is one of your favorites. So I am interested in reading more by Barbara Kingsolver. That's the first book I ever read by her, but I know she's a super famous author, so I'd be curious to read more of her works. I'd love to know if any of you read a really good book in February or watched a really good show, maybe. You know, what kind of media are you going to be featuring on your month in review spread? A documentary on the Sackler family. I don't know what... I might be revealing a huge knowledge gap because maybe that's something everybody knows about, but I don't think I know what the Sackler family is. Okay, where do we want this guy? I like him there because he also then, I don't know why I'm just decided the gender of this sticker is he, but if I put it here and kind of do it at an angle, then it's the opposite angle of the way that I have this one, and then they kind of play off of each other. Oh, The Chosen is so good, Mackenzie. I love The Chosen. I'm excited for, I didn't get to see any of the new episodes that came out in theaters, so I'm really excited for them to all come out soon on the app and streaming services, because yes, such a good show. Incredible. The Echo of Old Books, Kindle Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited is one of those things that is always tempting me, but probably the last thing I need is another way to access books. I think I might use some of these. Maybe I'll use these ones. These little corner stickers. You might not have realized what these are for, but these are to put as corners on your photos, and so this might be a way to help some of your photos stay down if you're struggling with them staying down just by gluing them. And also, when you're using the stickers in this collection, adds some nice cohesion to your page. That's one of the reasons I love using sticker collections, whether it's the ones I created or just using a lot of stickers from the same source, like a sticker book, because it just adds automatic cohesion to your entry. Ooh, Bob Marley, how was that? I was intrigued by that one. An Outlander. Ooh, a popcorn sticker. That's great to use for movies. I think one of my collections forever ago has some popcorn stickers in it, but I don't know if I could tell you which one. I think there's one in the Carnival collection, which is like way back when, like, I'm talking like before 2020. So you can put these on the edges of your photos and onto the paper a little bit, and it'll just help hold it down when it keeps trying to pop up. There we go. I guess I'll put the others on. I was thinking I just would use the two, but oh, interesting to learn more about his wife. Okay. Yeah, that was one that I thought looked really good from the trailer, but was one that I felt I would just wait until it comes out on DVD or a streaming service, I guess. I don't know, most people, I guess, don't use DVDs anymore, but I like DVDs. Ben and I, his mom has quite the DVD collection, so we're always borrowing DVDs from her, and we go to the library a lot to rent movies on DVD, so there's just something nice and nostalgic about not finding a movie on Netflix and just picking up the disc and putting it into your DVD player and knowing it's going to work out even if you don't have Wi-Fi. That so that it looks like it went under that sticker. So there we go. That looks nice. This is a nice little border for our photo and helps to hold it down since that one was really popping up a lot. All right, so we are getting close to our 2-hour mark, which is usually when I try to start wrapping things up, but I've got quite a little bit of white space still happening here on the page. So let's see what else I wanted to document. Pull up my notes list on my iPad since I can't use my phone. So that is the main way that I personally keep track of everything that happens in a month. Is even just today, I went back through my photos and through my calendar, my planner, and my daily entries, you know, where I had daily entries, and use that to just kind of figure out what I wanted to document from this month. And then I just make a list in my notes app. So this is also something when I'm in a better month that I keep up with and do as things are happening rather than waiting until the end of the month. But we just wanted to take a look at what else. Oh, I forgot to do dinner with the Ecuador students, the students we went to Ecuador with. We met up with them at a Mexican restaurant and got dinner, so that was really fun. And Ash Wednesday Bible study restarted, so I could do some things related to that. And then I got a haircut, I had a dentist appointment, had my eye appointment, so, you know, getting all the things done. I got coffee with a student who was looking for some kind of career advice, so I could talk about that. I also wanted to document evening tea, getting tea with Ben. Like, we've had tea almost every night. I feel like there's got to be a teacup, some kind, somewhere in this magazine. This is the Daphne's Diary, which is one of my favorite magazines to cut up and use in my journal after I read through it. This just has the prettiest little illustrations. Valentine's Day treats. Aha! There's some teacups. I could use that. this would be a really cute little illustration to cut out related to reading as well. Isn't this so beautiful? I just love, love, love. Oh, I like this bird. The yellow is not really any yellow on this page, but I might use that because I did want to record some of the birds that we've seen so far coming back to our yard. This also would be nice for the birds. I'll also do this one. Let's just cut them out and see what they might look like. I don't think I'm going to do the whole line of them, though that would look so cute if you just put that whole line on your page. The problem is I'm too literal when it comes to my journal, and the fact that we did not see these particular birds in my yard will make me not want to include them, because rather than seeing them as just representing like, oh, we saw some new birds, I'm gonna be like, but we didn't see that exact type of bird, so it's not accurate. I need to get out of my head when it comes to the accuracy of my creative parts of my journal. Okay, so it could be, just like a fun little birdies. Maybe I'll put it up here with the winter beauty. Yeah, it definitely bothers me that these are not the birds that actually visited my yard. You know, we're gonna try and push past it. We're gonna be strong and not care. Sometimes you don't have the perfect photo of the actual bird that you saw in your yard, and you just need to go with what represents the moment. The birds that we did see were did I not update? We saw a northern flicker and a fox sparrow, and some finches have returned as well. So maybe I could like try and like do some coloring over one of these birds to make it look more like one of the birds that we actually saw. They do look really cute on here, so I'm pushing past the temptation to have them be exactly accurate. So the other thing that I wanted to put in here is having our cups of tea in the evening. It's just like a nice regular thing. Wait, did I just see it? Ooh, I like this one. This is perfect. Look how cute that is. Ooh, and a little teapot. always a little painful cutting apart these magazines because they're so beautiful, but I did already read through it, and I feel like this is just giving it new life because ultimately it's just going to sit on my shelf and nobody's going to look at it. I'd love to know if you guys ever use magazines in your journals. And I also want to grab this really sweet teapot that's here on this other side. And just get the basic shape out of the magazine first, and then I can fussy cut. Oop, got a little bit messed up there. Okay, there we go. So we have our little teapot and our teacup, which are so darling. Bye, Wendy. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yes, highly recommend holding on to magazines as great free ephemera to use in your journaling. All right, I think I'm going to put these here. Sizes are not quite right. Well, I might not use the teacup for the time being. I might just use the pot. And then somewhere I have this one that says Cozy Evenings with You. So I'm going to use that one alongside the teapot, and then I'll just write about nice quiet evenings snuggled up on the couch with Ben, and us just kind of each having our cups of tea and reading together, which is just you know, what your girl always dreamed about when she thought about getting married was finding a husband who would love to read and drink tea in silence together. So if there's any single ladies watching, hold out hope and don't settle, because Mr. Right is out there. Okay, so I'm gonna put that there, and then I'll put this up here. I'm gonna put this little floral one. I don't know yet if I'm gonna write over it or just use the image on its own, but I do want to write a little bit about first signs of spring. Actually, I don't think I want to do it there. I'm gonna do it down here. I'll just use this little early spring sticker over it. Oh, I love that you read aloud to each other, Paige. That's awesome. And that you do it with Shakespeare, of all things. That's amazing. That's really special. Ben and I read aloud to each other occasionally. We used to do it more, honestly, when we were dating. Ironically, when we didn't live together, so it would be nice to bring it back now that we do live together. But the one thing we do it with every year is we try to read A Christmas Carol and read that aloud to each other every year, which is always really special. All right, so I just need to fill in this space. I think that's where I'm going to talk some about my kind of Bible study starting again and Ash Wednesday. But the problem is, I don't think I printed out. No, I'm not seeing it. I don't think I printed out my faith add-on sheet for February yet, so I need to print that out so that way I can use it here on this entry in this spot, because I have a really good sticker on the faith add-on sheet, which is available on the Abiding Faith tier and up, that is basically designed in the same style as that month, so same color scheme, similar patterns and things like that, but is more focused on my faith and Christianity. So there's verses on there, there's things related to the Christian calendar that I don't include in the regular month as much. So if you're interested in more faith-related stickers, that would be a great thing to look into and consider joining that tier to get access to those. I wish I had one to show you right now so that way you could see, but I have a really good Ash Wednesday quote sticker that says, you know, from ashes, I'm forgetting how that quote goes, but to ashes you will return, you know, that whole line. So I want to put that in here and can talk about Bible study a bit. I might talk about some work related things over in this corner. Maybe just do some like proud of myself for getting certain things done. I might use some of the prompts actually. Some of these, like I'm proud of my progress so far because, and this one, sometimes I get down on myself for not doing more, but then I remember ... So that's a really nice one that you could just use that. And one of the like more block stickers for you to do your journaling in, and you could just put that above it, one of the prompts, and then write your response to that prompt if you're kind of like looking at a bunch of empty space and not sure how you're going to fill it. That's where the prompts come in really handy. So I might use one of the prompts here in this space with one of those over it just to take up a little bit more room, and then I'll just fill in these other little blank spots with a few of the tiny things that I haven't mentioned yet. I want to write White Cliffs of Kenoi to describe this walk that we went on. So I'm going to do that right here, and that's probably going to be how I finish the page, just as a quick overview, because I do try to keep these to 2 hours because I want to be respectful of everybody's time and not take up too much of it. But I hope that this has given you a glimpse at my process. You had fun hanging out, and that this was just an enjoyable experience. We will be getting together again next month. Let me turn the camera around as we say goodbye. So, there we go. Oh, you're a little crooked. So let me actually look at my calendar, because we get together, as I said, on the first Thursday of every month. So you can go ahead and put that into your calendar right now for the entire year. But for April, that is going to mean Thursday, April 4th. So mark your calendars for 7 p.m. Eastern time on April 4th. That is when our next live stream hangout is going to be. And to be decided, I would love your feedback, specifically those of you who have joined as free members on Patreon. I know that we get a lot more involvement in the live streams when I just post them directly to YouTube so that you can access it through Patreon, but it also is available for anybody to watch on YouTube actually during the live. That's what I did last month to kind of get people into the habit. And so I'm kind of debating if I should go back to that model, but then I know that there's less of a reason for people to want to join my free membership on Patreon, because the live stream was supposed to be kind of the impetus for joining the free membership. But what I'm thinking is maybe my new kind of reason that you would still want to become a free member is that I choose one sticker from the collection every single month to share for free for anybody to use. So let me know if that would be interesting to you, so that way more people would be part of the live stream and get to hang out if I just made it available right from the get-go on YouTube, or if you prefer it kind of being a little bit more of like a intimate community where only those who have joined as members on Patreon are accessing the live, and then it's available for everybody on YouTube. I just would love your opinion on that. So more to come. Make sure that you're subscribed. Like I said, I'm gonna have a fun video coming out this coming week. That's gonna be a whole look at my journaling process, and I might actually include how I finish this entry
in that video so that you'll still get to see the full process. So look forward to that. And until then, I encourage you to keep exploring your abiding creativity and document a life abiding in faith, hope, and love.